Hi guys, Tiffany from Us the Remingtons here. Today we're going to talk about propane and your travel trailer. Your trailer is equipped with 1 or 2 DOT approved propane cylinders that are mounted on the tongue of the trailer. They may be protected by a propane tank cover, an odd-shaped box at the tongue of your trailer. There are many components to your trailer's propane system, and we highly recommend you check out the full article on the ABCs of LPG, which we've linked in the description below. But for today, we're going to focus on turning on the propane for your trailer and making sure all of your propane appliances are functioning properly. Before you turn the propane on, make sure all of the appliances that use propane are off. That includes your stovetop, oven, water heater, furnace, refrigerator, and generator. Err on the side of caution and shut the generator down before turning the propane on, regardless if it runs on propane or gasoline. Next, remove the cover protecting the propane cylinders. Check the tank indicators to make sure none of your tanks are empty. If you find an empty tank, now is the time to disconnect and refill. Do this while all of your interior appliances remain safely off. If you don't already have one, this is also a good time to install a propane gauge like this one. These gauges make it easier to monitor propane levels so that you aren't surprised when your tanks are empty. To turn on the propane, turn the handle on the top of the tank or tanks counterclockwise to open the valve and start the flow of propane into your trailer. To be safe, turn the knobs until you can't turn them anymore. The valves on these cylinders are naturally double sealing, which means they're sealed when they're fully open and fully closed. Leaving them partially open increases the odds of a gas leak. Now it's time to get familiar with your propane appliances. Unless you have an induction cooktop that uses electricity, hop inside your trailer and start with your stovetop. If your stovetop does run on propane, pick any burner and turn the corresponding knob counterclockwise to start the flow of propane. You may need to depress the knob in order to turn it, but you should hear the hiss inside the propane when you do this. Next, use the ignition switch to light the burner. If the trailer is not equipped with an ignition switch, carefully light the burner with a long match or an extended lighter. Check that the flow of the propane remains reliable for a minimum of 15 to 20 seconds to make sure you're not just burning any excess propane that was left over in your gas lines. Next, it's time to check that you're getting propane to the pilot light in your oven. Open the oven door and leave it open throughout this entire process. This helps you visually confirm the pilot light is staying lit, and it also allows the propane vapor to escape than rather accumulate inside, which can cause a very dangerous explosion if it's allowed to build up. Because the pilot light is located towards the back of the oven, you'll want to use an extended lighter to reach it more easily. The pilot light will be in the center of the unit under the lowest tray. Now that you've located the pilot light, turn the oven control to pilot. Some knobs may initiate pilot flow automatically when you turn into this position, but most will need to be held down. While some may wait 10 to 15 seconds before lighting the pilot, I personally choose to ignite it closer to the 5 seconds to minimize the excess propane vapor that enters the oven before the pilot is lit. Once it's lit, keep the knob depressed and in the pilot position for another 30 seconds to make sure it stays lit. If you're planning on using the oven, go ahead and adjust the oven knob to your desired temperature. The pilot light on your trailer's furnace is controlled by a switch that ignites or extinguishes based on your thermostat setting. So the good news is you shouldn't have to light it manually. To check the operation of your furnace, adjust the thermostat to a lower setting than the current temperature inside your trailer. Within 15 to 30 seconds, you should hear a pilot light ignite. A few minutes later, you should feel warm air exiting the vents through your trailer. Similarly, checking your water heater simply involves turning it on and waiting for the cold water in the tank to heat up. How long will you need to wait? Well, that will depend on the type of trailer you're renting. If you're not in a newer rig with a tankless water heater, you'll have to wait anywhere up to 45 minutes for your tank to warm the water before you can check for hot water and the temperature. To turn on your water heater, flip either the switch in the kitchen or the bathroom. These switches should be red to associate them with your water heater, but they may be more overtly labeled as well. Consult your owner's manual if you're having trouble finding them. Most trailers are also equipped with 2- or 3-way refrigerators. 2-way models run on AC power or propane, and 3-way units run on AC, DC, or propane. Whichever version your trailer has, you'll want to check that it's running on propane when it should be. To do this, locate your refrigerator's control panel. This panel will look different depending on the trailer, make, or model. So the best course of action is to consult with your owner's manual to figure out how to change your refrigerator's mode to propane or LP. On this model, this is a control panel, so I'm just going to push this button labeled LP and make sure that the light flips over to the associated indicator. Now I'm going to wait 20 to 30 seconds and listen for an audible spark on the refrigerator's pilot light. Your refrigerator will try to ignite the pilot multiple times even if the propane is off. So you want to make sure to stick around long enough to confirm that your refrigerator doesn't flip back into AC or DC power mode. If propane isn't on, your refrigerator automatically switches back to a reliable power source. Now that you know the basics of turning the propane on and checking the various propane appliances in your travel trailer, here are a few safety tips that all trailer operators should be aware of. Tip 1. Turn propane off before towing. Before traveling, all of your propane appliances should be shut off and the valves on both tanks turned fully clockwise to close them. Propane should be contained in your cylinders while towing to limit the flammability of your trailer in case of an accident. You'll also want to open your kitchen window or roof vent when you're cooking on your stovetop or using your oven. This isn't necessary for heating your trailer or running your water heater, but it's a good idea to avoid any accumulation of toxic fumes in your trailer. Plus, it preemptively protects you from a smoky trailer if you're like me and easily get distracted while cooking. If you feel like you're smelling propane around your trailer or having trouble with any of your appliances, shut everything down and seek a professional for guidance. I promise working with your propane is not as intimidating as it sounds. You'll only need to go through the motion once before you become a master. Stay safe and have a great trip.